Fresh Sim Racing. This is our highlights of our fifth and final race of our Club Sprint Race Championship, where we see some of our best drivers take on the overall championship of who is the most adaptable driver in a series of cars around one particular track on one weekend as a championship series. This is the Ferrari series. This is our last race of the evening. As we can see, the sky has changed. The lights of these cars are on. It is dark and getting darker very quickly. So this is another challenge for these drivers in the Ferrari 488 Series Cup. In these Club Sprint Race Championships, the drivers are competing for a championship within the individual car and the overall championship for the most adaptable driver in the Sprint Race Championship. So this Ferrari series is replacing a Renault V6 series, which didn't quite work with the types of cars. The cars are fantastic cars, the Renault Megane V6 and the RS01. Good cars to drive, but the drivers just felt they needed a bit more time and sort of a setup to tweak. This race we do on a Wednesday night is a default setup race, so we've gone with the Ferrari 488 series, the full power Ferrari as well, so this is going to be a very interesting race for sure. Let's have a look at the random grid that has been assigned for tonight's race. Lord of Lincoln takes pole in his red Ferrari, the Mikey 8-ball in the black car in P3. Kingy, who's had 2 P2s and 2 P1s in the previous races, you'll find the videos for these on our Fresh Sim Racing YouTube page. Be sure to check them out. Kingy's had a fantastic evening so far. He finds himself in P3. Into All Sorts, the man who seems to have the fastest lap capacity for most of the races here, he starts in P4. Nathbit in that yellow-blue livery, he's in P5. Bullen in the white Ferrari in P6. Ice Dude, he's in P7, alongside Jeff Spencer in P8. P9, we have Charlie Goff. He's alongside Ollie. What a fantastic livery in that Ferrari there for Ollie. He's alongside Ambient Stubb, who's starting way down the grid. He'll want to be able to get his red Ferrari up with his teammates, who starts in P1. Wayne is in P12 and Sam Thumbfinger further behind in P13. Let's see how the final race ended as we get our way with race 5 of round 2 of the Club Sprint Race Championship. Lights are off. It's an 8-lap race here. We see the lights of the cars on as the cars are dipping, vying for position as we go into turn 1, and that's Mikey having a look on the inside of Lord of Lincoln. There's a bit of contact there as one car right at the back runs wide. Lord of Lincoln holds that position in P1, although Mikey is putting him under pressure. Into All Sorts into 3. Kingy is in 4th. Nathbit 5th. Bullen 6th. Ollie 6th. As Lord of Lincoln runs wide there, and that allows Mikey to drive through in P3. Has a look on the inside, coming up to the right hander up the hill. He leads through into the braking zone. Lord of Lincoln loses 2 places in that second corner for a moment of running wide. A lot of power in these Ferraris, so the drivers will be getting used to the amount of power. By far the fastest and most powerful car we have on our race circuit in our series for season 1. Out front, Mikey leads Into All Sorts in second. Lord of Lincoln getting very sideways there as Kingy has a look on the inside, and Nathbit has a look on the back of Kingy, but has a moment himself actually, and that gives Bullen and Ola the opportunity to go by. This race is kind of breaking up into 3 separate parts here as we watch Bullen take a moment onto the grass there. Further ahead, Kingy having a look on the inside of Lord of Lincoln up the hill, and it looks to me like that move is done unless Lord of Lincoln can fight back on the slipstream. But I don't think he can. Out front, Into All Sorts has to think about looking on the inside into turn 1, thinks better off it, rides the car around the outside. 8-ball takes a nice defensive line, gets the foot in his power as early as he can, and is able to keep the gap. We have had a driver leave though, unfortunately. I believe that is Charlie Goff, not able to finish this race. Potentially a disconnection there, so we're down to 12 drivers. Into All Sorts is looking to make his way past Mikey out front. Kingy is closed up quite quickly to this front pair. He's in P3. He's found himself in the top half of the grids after the first or second lap consistently here in his races. Further back, Sam Thumfinger has made his way up the grid and he's sat in 6th now. Nathbit is down into 8th. Icedu's in 7th. Bullen in 5th. This is pretty much from 5th down to 10th. From Bullen all the way down to Ambient is in this train of cars here. As Sam and Bullen are starting to pull away, we check in with Icedude. Here we're watching the this is pretty much the view there is that Nathbit has a massive moment, gets the car very sideways. Icedude has to lift off the power. There's a little bit of contact there. That's Ambient stub up on the inside. Icedude did suffer there. He was the victim in all that, it appears, as we're watching Sam Thumfinger and Bullen break away from the pack a bit behind them. Bullen does have a moment there, a little bit of oversteer, but he grips the car, gets traction again, and he loses the place to Sam Thumfinger. Sam is up into P5. Ollie's having a fantastic race so far. He's in P4. Kingy has he's up into P2. It's a moment for Inter. Inter is in P3. Whilst all this is happening, Kingy has found himself in P2. He's now chasing down 8-Ball in first position. This is Inter with a train of cars behind him now. He's got a 2-second window to Ollie behind. That window is closing. I wonder if Inter has any damage when he's been off track, and that's why he's had to slow down. Ollie is in P4, Sam Thumfinger in P5, Bullen is in P6. He's being chased down by Ambient. Icedude has got ahead of Nathbit, who's really struggling in this higher powered car. Just doesn't seem to be able to keep the car in a straight line under power, but not a problem Icedude seems to be having. Jeff Spencer and Lord of Lincoln are having a massive battle further behind. This is the battle for 10th. Wayne must have pitted for damage, or he's got considerable damage because he's running a lap down and he gets well out of the way of the leaders there. Good racing there by Wayne, gets well off the racing line, allowing the faster cars through. Further up the order, Nathbit's having a look on the inside of turn 1 and turn 2. No way through there. Icedude does run wide on the exit though. Well, that compromises line. It does. He runs wide. Icedude's run wide. That's a very rare mistake for him, running wide. Another driver who must be struggling in these different cars. Further back to the grid, it's a little bit of mayhem this race. There's a very clear gap to be here to the bottom half of the grid, but from P1 to P9 there's 15 seconds between us as the car of Wayne gets very sideways there. Or was that Nathbit? It's hard to tell. The two yellow liveried cars, livery teammates running together, as we're watching Sam take put the pressure on Ollie in P4. Can Sam make a move? He's got the run off the last corner coming up the hill. Sam looks to the inside. Ollie defends, forcing Sam to go around the long way. Will Sam look to brake and take a cutback? Ollie does run wide. Sam carries more speed, rides the corner nicely, but gets very sideways, and that is Sam off the track. It does very well to keep out the wall, but Ollie does keep foot in P4, and Sam is dropping down the order very quickly. He'll now find himself in P9. He rejoins in front of Jeff Spencer. Kingy, meanwhile, out front has taken the lead of this race on lap 5. There must have been a moment there for 8-Ball. He's now find himself in P2. Inter All Sorts is in P3. Ollie behind in P4, and Ambient Stub in P5. Top 6 drivers all separated by 6 seconds. It's been a fantastic evening for Kingy. If he wins this will be his 3rd consecutive victory and 2 P2 positions in the 5 races. All 5 races have the highlights here on Freshton Racing's YouTube channel. If you're enjoying what you're seeing here, the like of racing that we have here, don't forget to drop a like Subscribe if you want to subscribe, and if you want to join us out on track on the Project Cars 2 on the PS4, we have our Discord link in the description, which will be able for you to join us in the Discord and join us racing. The Sunday night race, which is the Sunday the 6th of September, we are racing vintage touring cars around classic Silverstone, and it is going to be wet early on and potentially drying, so that's going to put up a very interesting race. Again, don't forget to join our Discord for more information on that. As Bullen makes his way up into P5 there. Is that one of our leading races? It is. Inter All Sorts has had a moment off track and he now finds himself in P7. Place is changing all the time here. Kingy is ahead with a 4-second lead on lap 6. He's ahead of 8 Ball in second. Ollie is found himself in P3, but he does have Ambient Stub for company very close behind. Bullen is a few seconds back in P5, Nathbit P6 into P7, Sam in P8, Ice Dude P9, Jeff Spencer P10, Wayne 11, and Lord of Lincoln in 12th. Lord of Lincoln has had another, he must have had damage because he's now further behind and Wayne has gained a position. But we were watching Ambient Stub take a very close there on the inside of Ollie as he gains the position, and Ambient Stub is in P3, breaks away from the car to get away from that side drafting there to be able to get the good braking point, and Ambient Stub finds himself in P3. Has he got enough time though to close down the gap to 8 Ball ahead to take second place away? Further back, Inter All Sorts, a driver who was racing higher up. Can't see any major damage there on the car, but he's coming around. In fact, he's gained a place. He's gained a place because Nathbit has gone off track, and that's freed up Ice Dude to get P7. Ice Dude's having a bit of a yo-yo race here. He's been up as high as 4th or 5th, but low as far as 10th, 11th, and he's kept the car on track, and he's getting the reward for it now in P7. Only 20 seconds off the leader as well, so he's in a position to take advantage of any further mistakes any of the front brothers might have. No major close battles out on track as it stands at the minute, as our race leader is heading onto the final lap. Ambient Stub, after getting free of Ollie, is currently the fastest man on track. He's lapping in the 21 seconds, 21.4 on the last lap for Ambient Stub. He was a second faster than Mikey, but there is a 3-second gap. Unless Mikey makes a massive mistake, I can't see Ambient Stub being in a position to take that second place away. But Kingy out front, he's just going to nurse the car home. And he will take his 3rd victory of the night in his maiden outing in round 2 of our club sprint race championship. Certainly going to be a front runner for the remainder of the series. Our sprint race championship happens every Wednesday night, 7 PM British Standard Time, British Summer Time. Again, check out that link, Discord link in the description for more information. The concluding of this final race 5 of our sprint race championship sees Kingy in the position coming around the final corner. He is surely going to take the 3rd win of the evening, with Mikey A8 Ball behind in P2. Ambient Stub, a fantastic effort from him, putting in the quick laps, just not enough. A little bit too late for him to be able to catch up 8 Ball ahead. He needed 2 more laps, I reckon, and he would have been able to get the place. Fantastic race from Bullen. He's tamed this Ferrari and finds himself taking up a P4. Unfortunate for Ollie, raced very well during the early on. He's going to take P5. Inter All Sorts, racing very high until a moment sees him take P6. Ice Dude, a good race for Ice Dude. He's had a very quiet evening, not got the results he maybe wanted to get around this track, but he finds himself in P7. A lot further behind though, you'll find Nathbit taking P8 and Jeff Spencer closing up very quickly for a P9. Sam Thumbfinger, he's had not the greatest race, I'm sure. He finds himself in P10. Wonder if he picked up damage there. And Wayne P11, Lord of Lincoln P13. Charlie Goff unable to finish the race. Let's get off this screen so we get a good look at the of our winner there. That is Kingy, who takes his third win. We're going to take a very quick look at the standings, just so you're all informed. After round 2, the leader of the GT5 Cup is Ambient Stub in the GT5. He's 3 points ahead of Inter All Sorts, who has 5 points on Lord of Lincoln. In the former Rookie Championship, it's Inter All Sorts who has 2 point lead over his teammate Sam Thumfinger, and then the two 1867 club drivers of Ambit Stub and Lord of Lincoln are behind on 27 and 24 points. In the M1 Pro Cars, 8 Ball takes the pole there. He's on 29 points. He's 2 points clear of Inter All Sorts and Lord of Lincoln, who share 27 points in joint second, and Jeff Spencer, who is in P3. The Vintage Lotus 25, Ambient Stub and Sam Thumfinger share the spoils in P1 there. Inter All Sorts has 29 points in second, and Nathbit 5 points behind on 24. It's Ferrari Series, Ambient Stub and Kingy, they share the spoils after this round of Kingy's fantastic win in P1. Inter All Sorts in second on 28 points, and 8 Ball for Full Throttle Racing in third at 26 points. The overall championship sees Ambient Stub 1 point clear, only 1 point ahead of Inter All Sorts. There's then a 21 point gap to 8 Ball behind. Lord of Lincoln takes fourth, Nathbit fifth, Sam Thumfinger in sixth, and Kingy mapping up a whopping 100 points in his first outing with us. An absolutely fantastic for him. If he carries on at this pace, he'll surely be up there with the front runners. Wayne finds himself at 8th, Nice Dude 9th, Jeff Spencer 10th, Ollie 11th, Bullen in 12th. That has been round 2 of the Sprint Race Championship here at Fresh Sim Racing, where we see 5 different cars race in a sprint club race format around Sportsland Sugo. Next Wednesday we are at Sakito. We've gone from Rapana Park Club into Sportland Sugo. We now go to Sakito in the sprint circuit, where we will see rain in a couple of the races as well. If you fancy joining us for that race, it takes place on the 9th of September. Make sure you check out the link for the Discord in the description for more information. If you've liked the stream so far, make sure you pop a like. Make sure you leave a comment if you want to find out some more information, you want to speak about some of the drivers. Feel free to leave a comment. Subscribe for more videos similar to this, a bit more racing. Otherwise, we will see you next time around. Thank you very much for joining us here at Fresh Sim Racing. It's been a pleasure to have you. Hopefully, again, see you soon.